Last night, during her performance, R&B legend Brandy was abruptly taken to the hospital, leaving fans in complete disbelief. Monica was left standing by herself on stage, clearly shaken, as the lights went down and the music ceased. What actually took place behind the scenes? Was this simply fatigue, or is there something far more serious going on here than her team would like you to know? The information that is now coming to light will leave you stunned, so stay with me. Nobody was prepared for what happened. What was meant to be a memorable evening filled with nostalgia and music took a sharp turn. The R&B queen and voice of a generation, Brandy, was abruptly taken to the hospital during a live concert, leaving fans stunned and fellow performer Monica by herself on stage, bewildered and extremely worried. Within minutes, social media was up and running. All over the place, videos, rumors, and unverified stories began to circulate. However, what truly took place behind the scenes? Did something cause this medical emergency that evening, or had it been building for a while? Everything you need to know is covered in detail in this video, from what witnesses saw when Brandy began to struggle to what Monica did next, as well as insider reports of the stress, strain, and health issues that might have been accumulating for weeks. Some of the information that is now becoming public will surprise you. I assure you that it doesn't stop there. The emotional responses of the now outspoken music experts, fans, and celebrities will also be discussed. There is more to what we are about to discover than a single performance, so remain with me. This might alter all of our preconceived notions about Brandy's present state of health, her connection with Monica, and the prospects for their eagerly awaited performances together. The most unexpected aspect is that it will happen in a moment. The space was full. In order to witness Brandy and Monica perform together once more, fans had come from various states and even abroad. This concert wasn't like the others. People have been anticipating this day for years. The audience was a hive of activity, the lights were brilliant, and the sound was clear. Things took a surprising turn while Brandy was singing one of her favorite songs. It started out being subtle. The audience saw Brandy holding her microphone slightly lower and inhaling more deeply in between lines, as though she was having trouble breathing. Some people assumed it was merely a theatrical element, but her energy clearly changed in a matter of moments. She put her palm over her chest as though something was amiss, her posture changed, and her voice grew weaker. Unsure whether to stop or continue performing, the musicians on stage started looking at one another. Then it did. Brandy took a sluggish backward step. She moved shakily and had a pallid face. Seeing right away, Monica, who was a few steps away, approached her and spoke to her in a whisper. Despite her best efforts, Brandy's voice broke. Members of the stage staff ran from the sides as the band abruptly turned down the volume. All of the music stopped and the arena fell silent. The crowd seemed perplexed. Initially, did the show include this? There was a dramatic pause before the stage manager called for emergency personnel and the lights changed. Brandy's squad encircled the medics as they carefully escorted her off stage. Monica was left standing by herself in the middle of the stage, clearly in disbelief. The instant her countenance changed from worry to fear was caught on camera. Spectators near the stage claimed to have heard a staff member remark, "Get her to the hospital now." According to others, Brandy reported feeling lightheaded, breathless, and dizzy. An ambulance reached the backstage entrance in a matter of minutes, as her crew built a protective circle to keep reporters and cameras out. Monica spoke to the audience while attempting to keep her composure. As she spoke, her voice was calm but emotional. "An unforeseen medical circumstance has arisen. Please remember to pray for Brandy. We'll give you an update shortly." The audience cheered enthusiastically, but the mood had completely shifted. What was meant to have been a happy evening had abruptly changed to one filled with doubt and worry. This leads us to the most important query that everyone began posing. What led to Brandy's abrupt collapse? Was it stress, fatigue, or something much more serious? Subtle but significant warning indicators had started to appear long before the lights went out and Brandy was taken to the hospital. According to those close to her, this wasn't a sudden breakdown, but rather the outcome of weeks or even months of silent struggles, high levels of stress, and undisclosed health issues. Bry had a very full schedule in the days before the show. There wasn't much time for rest because of rehearsals, interviews, media appearances, sound checks, and continuous travel between cities. The glossy aspect was displayed on social media. Images of immaculate makeup, genuine backstage giggles, and chic attire. However, spectators were blind to the fatigue that went on behind the scenes. One insider claims that Brandy had been complaining of extreme exhaustion, lightheadedness, and sporadic pressure in her chest. According to reports, she dismissed it, claiming that she was simply exhausted and would feel better after getting some rest. But this was not the first instance of this kind of event happening. During a rehearsal a few weeks prior, Brandy allegedly sat down in the middle of a song and claimed to have felt as though the room was spinning. She was urged to take a break by her colleagues, but she refused to stop. She didn't want to let her admirers down. With a big performance approaching, she didn't want to appear weak in any way. Brandy's close friends also observed changes in her mood. She was more reserved, aloof, and frequently lost in contemplation than normal. She appeared overwhelmed, according to some, bearing the burden of personal obligations, expectations, and the fame of being a music icon whose every action was scrutinized by the public. She was pushing herself too hard, according to a friend who wished to remain nameless. She refused to slow down. She insisted that she had to deliver. She needed to perfect this tour. There were also reports of personal stress on top of that. Industry insiders murmured about conflicts on her crew, impromptu show changes, and lengthy delays. Discussions about upcoming projects. Even though none of this was publicly verified, it increased the emotional strain she was already under. In addition, she had to deal with the strain of performing with Monica, a longtime friend, partner, and occasionally suspected rival. Although their history hasn't always been cordial, fans have loved their songs together. Some people believe that the need to present a perfect, united front alongside Monica made an already hefty emotional load even more stressful. Although Brandy and Monica have openly declared their love and admiration for one another, people familiar with the matter said that the strain to live up to fan expectations was almost too much to handle. Perhaps most worryingly, though, was that she had reportedly been told to slow down by medical specialists close to her. According to reports, Brandy was advised to keep an eye on her stress levels, get more sleep, and refrain from overworking herself after a standard health exam earlier this year. It's unclear if she heeded that counsel entirely, but her body had been giving off warning signs, and it gave out at last night. The true question then becomes, did her team disregard these red flags, or was Brandy just adamant about getting the job done regardless of the cost? Everything changed when Brandy vanished into the backstage hallway behind the velvet drapes. The audience's applause subsided, and the music was replaced by a thick quiet. Backstage, which had previously been a site of excitement and preparation, was suddenly tense, perplexed, and terrified. With her palm placed over her chest and her breathing shallow, Brandy was sitting on a hospital stretcher. Her eyes were open, but she appeared bewildered, as if she was struggling to maintain consciousness, according to those in the room. She was surrounded by medical professionals who checked her pulse, asked questions, and covered her mouth and nose with an oxygen mask. According to one doctor, she required emergency hospital evacuation since her blood pressure was unstable. When Monica's brief address to the crowd was over, she hurried off stage. She was spotted moving swiftly, practically racing in Brandy's direction while still sporting her performance attire. According to witnesses, Monica kept asking, "Is she okay? What took place?" However, nobody had any solid answers at the time. With a gentle murmur that only the two of them could hear, Monica put her hand on Bry's arm. According to some, Brandy gave a feeble nod. Some claim she didn't reply at all. Bry's team, meanwhile, worked quickly, yet cautiously. Her personal possessions, such as her phone, water bottle, and a handwritten set list she kept for the performance, were collected by her assistant. Her manager asked the medical staff in a private conversation which hospital she was being transported to and if it was safe to make any public announcements. Holding back tears, one crew member instructed security to keep all cameras and unapproved people out of the hallway. Things were just as fierce inside the ambulance. Heart monitors were fastened to Brandy's chest, and she was secured firmly onto the stretcher.
According to reports, the paramedics inquired about any past medical history of heart difficulties, anxiety episodes, or respiratory disorders. Due to her weakness and difficulty speaking, Brandy was only able to reply with brief, gentle phrases. To have the emergency room ready for her arrival, the paramedics radioed ahead. Confusion back at the location became conjecture. As the music ended, the lights went down and Brandy was assisted off stage. Many in the audience pulled out their phones and posted videos of the event. Posts like, "Did Brandy just collapse on stage?" were all over Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok in a matter of minutes. And "Why is Monica by herself outside?" The buzzing of phones continued. Industry insiders, friends, and other celebrities were phoning to inquire about the veracity of the report. Public remarks were already being prepared by some. "Is she okay?" was the only question posed by others. However, the most moving statement was made by a close friend or family member. "She's been pushing herself too hard. None of us anticipated it becoming this serious, but we all saw it coming." Doctors and nurses moved quickly and precisely as Brandy was wheeled through the hospital doors. Monitors were prepped, drapes were drawn, and IV fluids were already set up in the emergency room. Brandy was hooked up to a heart monitor right away. Witnesses described her complexion as seeming pale and clammy, her breathing was shallow, and her pulse was quick. Physicians started posing probing queries. Before the show, had she eaten anything? Did she take any prescription drugs? Had she recently complained of exhaustion or pressure in her chest? Although her team made every effort to respond as truthfully as possible, tensions were high. A few members of her crew were crying. Monica appeared shaken but composed as she sat quietly in a nearby chair, silently clinging to hope. Blood pressure checks, oxygen saturation measurements, blood tests for dehydration, blood sugar levels, and possible cardiac strain indicators were all part of the initial set of medical examinations. A nurse was overheard telling the doctor that Bri had extremely unstable blood sugar levels and considerably lower blood pressure than usual, which are classic indicators of physical weariness and dehydration. However, that wasn't all. Additionally, doctors believe that Brandy might be experiencing a stress-related medical episode, which might involve a confluence of physical exhaustion, worry, and excessive weariness. Everyone's attention was drawn to something that a hospital employee discreetly mentioned. There's too much strain on her body. Rest, not another stage, is what she needs. Meanwhile, rumors had already started to circulate outside the hospital. At the entryway, fans were congregating, clutching posters, sobbing, praying, and requesting updates. Within an hour, hashtags like #PrayForBrandy and #BrandyHospitalized trended nationwide, causing social media to continue to blow up. While some fans berated the industry for overworking artists, others wrote heartfelt messages. The emotions were overwhelming in the waiting room. Bri's mother and sister, who had hurried to the hospital upon receiving the call, sat with Monica. As she prayed quietly, Bri's mother was observed wiping away her tears. Monica reassured her, stating, "She is resilient. She will be all right." In her heart, though, she was unsure of what the physicians would say next. A doctor finally entered the room after what seemed like an eternity. Everyone got to their feet at once. He had a composed yet solemn countenance. He clarified that Brandy had experienced extreme fatigue, dehydration, and perhaps a medical crisis brought on by stress. Although she was stable, she required immediate monitoring and relaxation. No more travel, interviews, performances, or doctor's orders. Her family was both relieved and concerned. They inquired as to whether this might occur once more. Calmly, the doctor said, "It will if she doesn't slow down. Her body has been sending signals for months." This served as a warning. One of the first individuals given access to Brandy's room once she regained consciousness was Monica. Brandy was weak but conscious. She spoke softly, hardly raising her voice beyond a whisper. Taking her hand tenderly, Monica remarked, "You scared everyone out there." Reports say Brandy blinked away her tears.
"I didn't want to let anyone down," she said. It was all in that one statement. The choice that would alter everything then came. The performances, the tour, and even Bri's interaction with the general population. To decide on the next course of action, her team convened in a private area within the hospital. Should they make a public announcement, postpone the planned performances, or remain mute until further details are available? Some suggested that after she healed, they should carry on with the tour. Others said that everything else could wait and that her health should come first.
Brandy's manager got a message on his phone just as the room was quieting down and decisions were about to be made. "You're not going to believe who just reached out," he stated, after taking a moment to look at the screen. It was a personal message from a well-known musician and Brandy's close friend, a member of the music business who rarely speaks in public but has a significant impact behind the scenes. Although the person's identity has not been formally verified, insiders claim that Brandy holds a great deal of respect for them and that their message carried weight that nobody had anticipated. The message was straightforward but impactful. Keep her safe. Stop everything. Her life is not worth any spectacle. The conversation's tone was abruptly altered by their remarks. There was silence in the room. That evening, for the first time, Bree's crew was in agreement about what had to be done next. In order to prioritize her health and recuperation over safeguarding the reputation or ticket sales, they decided to cancel future concerts, postpone interviews, and issue a public statement. According to the notification, which was written by an official spokesman, Brandy had a medical issue involving fatigue and needed to rest right away under a doctor's supervision. They requested privacy as they recovered and thanked supporters for their prayers. Monica, meanwhile, spent the entire night at the hospital. Even when others went home to rest, she stayed. She sat in silence, occasionally praying and other times gazing into her phone at the love that fans were showing her on the internet. Some conjectured that Brandy and Monica would grow apart as a result of this incident. Rather, it drew them nearer. After their hit song "The Boy Is Mine," the media portrayed Brandy and Monica as rivals, and many fans recall the previous allegations and scandals surrounding their relationship. However, anyone who knows them well would tell you that the reality is more nuanced. Despite the world's expectation of drama, they have maintained friendship, respect, and mutual regard over the years, and that bond was evident in a silent hospital room on this particular night. Although Brandy was still being monitored, in the morning her condition had improved. Her mother took her hand in hers. Monica read a few of the fan prayers and notes out loud to Brandy. When Brandy realized how many people were worrying about her, tears welled up in her eyes. Relatives, friends, fans, and other artists. She felt as though the weight she had been bearing on her shoulders had suddenly decreased. Physicians suggested taking a rest. No press appearances, no travel, and no performances for however long is required. Prioritize your health over everything else. Not only out of need, but out of understanding, Brandy nodded in agreement. This time, she was going to pay attention to the warning her body had given her.